Good morning. It's Wednesday, November 26th. Here's what we're working on.
I'm Simone Gavros reporting live in Burlington. Prime Minister Mark Carney is expected to announce new measures to support Canada's steel industry after it was hit hard by U.S. tariffs.
We'll have more on what the Ontario government is doing to crack down on dangerous driving.
And Canada's most decorated female Olympian has been banned from competition until 2027. Good morning. Feels like spring, but the big chill's coming, Brian.
I wore a spring jacket today, Brian, but I know I'll be home in time before the cold snap.
Before the cold comes in, and it will come in later on this afternoon. So we start out really mild, and then the temperature goes down later on today. So, yeah, 11 degrees is the forecast high for the day. And you know, we're double digits to start the morning. We're at 10 degrees right now, and that's 3 times above a seasonal daytime high. Seasonal daytime high now is 3, and we're at 10 to start the morning, climbing to 11, but the winds are going to get a lot colder this afternoon, and the temperature is going to fall to 2 degrees by later on today. So we're going to get showers. The wind is going to pick up. There's wind warnings in effect for Niagara Falls, Simcoe, Delhi. Could have wind gusts to 90 kilometers an hour later. The rest of us, it's a special weather statement talking about winds 70 to 80 kilometers an hour. There are fog advisories for Halton Peel into Toronto this morning, and snow squall watches for Kitchener and Guelph. Could be 30 to 50 centimeters of snow with snow squall activity coming off the lake. So it's going to be an interesting couple of days. So as I said, we're at 10 right now, climbing to 11, and then the winds pick up and the temperature falls. We'll talk about that coming up. Right now, look at traffic. Nothing going on. Yay, that's good. 403 Waterdown Road, no problems right there. We do have wet roads this morning. We have had some showers. Some MTO traffic cameras, just checking to make sure they were there. QEW at Centennial Parkway, that looks good. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, still nothing. Appleby line all the way through Burlington to Oakville. I do want to show you one camera. A little foggy here at the 427, but yeah, fog advisory in effect for Halton Peel, Toronto right now. We'll look at weather. We'll look at traffic. We'll give you all the details coming up. Right now, the news.
All right, thank you, Brian. Prime Minister Mark Carney is set to announce new measures to support Canada's steel industry that's been hit hard by damaging U.S. tariffs. Simone Gavros joins us live from Burlington with the details this morning. Good morning, Simone.
Good morning, Rick. The announcement coming out today is expected to be about Canada's plan to limit foreign steel imports that are coming into Canada, and that's going to be moving that focus towards Canadian steel made here in the country. That announcement is expected to come out later today around 3:15, according to Prime Minister Mark Carney's itinerary. Now, there are reports saying that the government is expected to cut imports from other countries without a free trade agreement with Canada from 50% to 20% of 2024 levels. That's expected to create an estimated $854 million in domestic demand. Carney made a similar announcement in July, lowering the quota for foreign steel without a free trade agreement and applying a 50% tariff to any levels above and beyond that. The announcement today is expected to mention cuts to imports from countries with a free trade agreement, but it's unclear by how much. The government's also expected to work with CN Rail and cut freight rates by 50% when shipping steel from province to province. Ottawa is expected to subsidize the difference if CN can't provide a lower rate. The Prime Minister is also expected to announce additional supports for the softwood lumber industry as well. We're going to be following all these updates as they come out later today, but for now, something's back over to you, Annette.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, the Ontario government plans to bring in harsher penalties for dangerous driving with a lifetime ban for anyone convicted of dangerous driving causing death. It would also include immediate 90-day roadside suspensions and 7-day impounding of a vehicle if police believe someone is driving dangerously. It would also significantly increase fines and include new types of license suspensions. The proposed legislation all comes days after the Ford government axed automated speed cameras.
I support any legislation that will make our streets safer. It's a bit rich coming from a government who just removed the ability of municipalities to have speed cameras in place.
The everyday risk to people of speeding he's kind of made worse. He has made worse by eliminating automated speed cameras.
Meantime, police across Ontario are doing their own work to try to stop impaired driving with holiday ride programs.
The reward has been increased for information on a Niagara College grad missing in Quebec. An anonymous donor is offering $50,000 for information leading to the whereabouts of 22-year-old Liam Toman. He disappeared earlier this year on a ski trip to Mont Tremblant. He was last seen around 3 in the morning on February 2nd, leaving a bar after a night out with friends. Security footage captured him walking toward his hotel, but there's no video of him going inside. Toman hasn't used his phone, social media, or bank account since.
To mark the first of 16 days of action against gender-based violence, purple flags were raised yesterday around the world. Now in Welland, Birchway Niagara spearheads the initiative in Niagara region. The Women and Children Shelter says its 45 beds are always in demand. Police say the number of domestic violence calls they receive is up across the region. They've increased 31% in the last 5 years.
I can comment, back in September of 2023, the Niagara region, along with 47 other municipalities in Ontario, declared intimate partner violence or gender-based violence an epidemic.
The Domestic Violence Unit of Niagara Regional Police saw a funding increase in their last budget, adding more officers dedicated to the program. 2 people have been arrested and another is in hospital after a fight at a school on Hamilton Mountain. The fight broke out Monday afternoon around 1 at Nora Francis Henderson Secondary on Upper Sherman Avenue. When police got there, they found a 17-year-old student with an arm injury. He was taken to hospital. Bear spray and a knife were seized during the incident. A 16-year-old is charged with assault causing bodily harm and possession of a prohibited weapon. A 19-year-old faces an assault of a charge of assault caused bodily harm. Police believe that more people may have been involved. They're asking anyone with information to come forward. A second sold-out performance of the Nutcracker will go ahead in Burlington tonight after the ballet company's backdrops and props were recovered. This video is from their rehearsal for last night's show. Monday morning, a moving truck filled with irreplaceable pieces of their set was stolen. Before it was recovered, another ballet and dance companies across Canada had offered to help out. The truck was eventually recovered in Brampton.
But all of a sudden it was like Christmas time. It was Christmas for us, and you know what? There was a big Christmas tree in that truck that disappeared, so it was like the Grinch stole Christmas, and we got it back.
And Toronto police say the investigation into that stolen truck is ongoing.
Sportsline, there was only one game on the NHL ice last night, and it was an ugly one for the Edmonton Oilers.
Haskinen with 15 on the power play. Sagan, Robertson in front. Oh, I don't know how that didn't go in initially, and eventually was punched home.
Wyatt Johnston had a goal and 3 assists to propel the Dallas Stars to a laugher in Edmonton, demolishing the Oilers 8-3. The Stars jumped out to a 4-0 lead in the first period and cruised to their 7th win in 9 games. Edmonton's Stuart Skinner was pulled after allowing all those 4 goals on just 8 shots. Jamie Benn opened the scoring for Dallas, his first of the season and 400th of his career, becoming the 2nd player in team history to reach the milestone, alongside Hall of Famer Mike Modano. Languishing in last place in the Eastern Conference, there could be some good news for the injury-riddled Maple Leafs. Head coach Craig Berube says some of the team's top players are close to returning to action.
I'd say Matthews, Nyes, Waugh are close, okay? So I'll probably know tomorrow if they're available Wednesday.
The Leafs, losers of 7 of their last 8 games, open a 5-game road trip tonight in Columbus. Canadian superstar Marie-Philippe Poulin had a goal and an assist to become the first PWHL player to reach 50 career points as the Montreal Victoire blanked the New York Sirens 4-0. And Renee Debienne stopped 33 shots for the shutout. Tonight, Hamilton's Sarah Nurse and the Vancouver Golden Eyes visit Ottawa. Canada's most decorated female Olympian has been suspended for 2 years from her sport for an anti-doping rule violation. Toronto's Penny Alexiak, a 7-time Olympic medal-winning swimmer, has not tested positive for a banned substance, but she failed to fulfill her whereabouts requirements under anti-doping rules 3 times between October 2024 and this past June. The suspension ends July 14, 2027, which makes Alexiak eligible to compete in a 4th Olympic Games in LA in 2028. Rachel Homan improved to 5-1 at the Canadian Olympic curling trials in Halifax after an 8-7 win over Caitlin Laws. Homan will face Carrie Einerson's 6-0 rink this afternoon, with the winner getting a bye into the best-of-3 finals. On the men's side, Brad Gushu and Brad Jacobs, as well as Matt Dunstone, all tied for top spot at 4-1, with Jacobs and Dunstone squaring off this morning. We're mourning the loss of iconic Canadian curler and broadcaster Colleen Jones. The Halifax native has died after living with cancer for the last 3 years. In 1982, Jones became the youngest skip to win the Canadian women's curling title at age 22, and she went on to win the Scotties 5 more times and the World Championship twice. Jones enjoyed a nearly 40-year career at the CBC and was inducted into Canada's Sports Hall of Fame in 2016 and named a member of the Order of Canada in 2022. Colleen Jones was 65. FIFA has unveiled the pots for the 2026 World Cup draw. Next Friday's draw in Washington, D.C. will place the 4 highest-ranked teams, Spain, Argentina, France, and England, in separate sections of a new seeded bracket. The draw will flesh out the 12 groups at the expanded 48-team tournament, with co-host Canada, the U.S., and Mexico placed in Pot A, along with the 9 top-ranked teams. The remaining teams are divided by descending ranking in pots B, C, and D.
Okay, 6:11. It's Wednesday morning. It's the 26th of November. We're looking at pretty good conditions on the roads. No problems. 403 Waterdown Road. No problems there. I'm just going to show you a few MTO traffic cameras, and we'll go through them quickly because there's nothing going on. Centennial Parkway doing fine. We'll flip ahead to the 403 Ford plant, all doing okay all the way through the 427 Gardner QEW. Going through the traffic quickly because there's so much to talk about with the forecast for the day. Now, the temperature has just fallen. But, you know, okay, we'll take that. That's normal. But still, we're 3 times above a seasonal daytime high. We're sitting at 9 degrees at the moment. The winds are light. The humidity's right up there. It is a fairly misty start to the morning here. So for school today, it's going to be cloudy, showers, windy. Those winds will be southwest 50, gusting to 70. Some areas, Niagara Peninsula, could have gusts to 80 and 90 kilometers an hour, but the temperature will fall. The winds will really kick in later on this afternoon. Low pressure going by us, so rain and then snow flurry activity as the temperature falls. Some areas could get some flurries later on this afternoon as those temperatures really drop. So we'll start out the day 11, 12, 13, but temperatures will sink to anywhere from 2 to 4 degrees by later this afternoon, 4 for the Niagara Peninsula. But showers, some areas cycling into flurries. Tonight, the winds will stay strong, 50 to 70 kilometers an hour. 0, -1. That should be a 0 again for Mississauga, Halton, Peel. -1 for Guelph and Kitchener. But tomorrow, temperatures, well, they try, but 1, 2, and 3 degrees for the day tomorrow. We'll get flurries on and off throughout the day. And again, tomorrow is going to be fairly windy. Winds could gust to 70 kilometers an hour once again for the day tomorrow. So for heading out the door today, November 26th, it is misty outside. It's not really showering at the moment, but we will get those a little later on. The winds are light right now. Temperature has just dipped to 9 degrees. And we'll look at the long-range forecast coming up in a few minutes. Annette, Rick.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian. Coming up after the break, we're going to say good morning to Emily with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat later on this morning. And Stellantis is bringing back a 3rd shift to its Windsor assembly plant. We'll have more on what that means in terms of jobs coming up next. Happy Wednesday to Emily. Emily, what's coming up in Chit Chat this morning?
Hi, good morning. Well, we are going to be talking about a brand new movie from Glenn Powell, and I think it's his funniest and darkest comedy yet. We are also going to be chatting about some of the amazing things that I did yesterday while I was hanging out with the BIA, and Dolly Parton has now decided to build a line of travel stops.
Okay.
Interesting.
I'm sure it's going to be popular.
Did I say Burlington BIA?
I think you just said BIA.
Okay, Dundas, BIA.
Okay.
I was like, which one was I talking about? That one. That one.
There's lots of them busy right now for the holidays and local
Very
shopping.
busy, and it's the Dickens of a Christmas, so it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Emily. In overseas trading this morning, the Canadian dollar is up 9 points to 71.02 cents U.S. Gold is up $18 an ounce. Oil down 6 cents to $57.89 U.S. a barrel. In midday European trading, London is up this hour, along with Paris, while Frankfurt is down slightly.
On the Asian markets, a strong day for Tokyo, with the Nikkei gaining almost 900 points. Hong Kong was up, Shanghai down just a little bit. The close yesterday on North American markets, the Dow and NASDAQ were both up, the NASDAQ gaining almost 300 points.
Stellantis is hiring 1,500 workers as it brings a third shift back to its Windsor assembly plant in early 2026, restoring a shift cut 5 years ago as demands for its vehicles grows. The plant is the sole producer of the Chrysler Pacifica and its variants, as well as the new Dodge Charger Scat Pack and RT. Stellantis says the added shift fulfills commitments made in 2023 negotiations with Unifor. Hiring has already begun, with laid-off Windsor workers getting first priority, followed by displaced employees in Brampton. The company has faced criticism for moving future Jeep Compass production to the United States, prompting a federal review of government funding tied to job levels. Stellantis has also revised plans for its new Windsor battery plant, which will now build energy storage batteries.
Energy and Natural Resources Minister Tim Hodgson is going to brief BC MPs today on the federal government's expected energy deal with Alberta. BC Liberal MPs say any West Coast pipeline has to have the consent of First Nations and BC's provincial government. Prime Minister Mark Carney has echoed that, saying BC has to agree to any pipeline reaching the Pacific coast. BC Premier David Eby had called it unacceptable that the federal government and Alberta were negotiating a potential pipeline without his government's involvement. Carney is set to announce details of a memorandum of understanding with Alberta tomorrow in Calgary.
A new report says as mortgage and interest rates drop, Canadians are taking on more credit and debt. A report from credit reporting agency TransUnion says the total consumer debt rose to $2.6 trillion, which translates to a 4.1% increase in the third quarter. The report also says that while late payments and delinquencies fell in the early stage, late-stage delinquencies rose, with Ontario, Alberta, and Quebec showing the biggest increases. In Hamilton, the amount of mortgage debt was up by 1.5%.
Federal and provincial governments have brought in more than $5 billion in cannabis tax revenue since it was legalized in 2018. Just over $1 billion of that went to the federal government, while the rest went to provinces, except for Manitoba. It's the only one that doesn't take part in the federally managed cannabis taxation framework. Ontario had the greatest provincial share of revenue. Health Canada has spent about $21.6 million on education and prevention programs since the legalization of marijuana.
We're going to take a quick break. Brian is going to be back with your traffic update and your 7-day weather forecast. Good morning. The CHCH Christmas Toy Drive is on now.
You can help bring smiles to children 15 years and under this holiday season with a new unwrapped toy.
We'll be collecting at our studios at 4 Innovation Drive in Dundas, Monday to Friday from 9 to 5.
You can also drop off your donations at Hamilton's Eastgate Square and Niagara Seaway Mall in Welland.
Your generous gift will help a lot of kids throughout our communities.
JR Toys of Burlington is a partner once again.
If you've considered donating to our toy drive, please visit them at their Fairview Street location.
The good news, for any toy that's purchased at JR Toys, a donation will be made to the toy drive.
So it's like you're donating twice. And if you don't have time to shop in person, please consider donating by e-transfer, and we'll take care of the rest.
Thanks again to First Ontario Credit Union, who have made this possible.
You can donate any amount to Toy Drive at chch.com.
Donations will be accepted until December 19th.
624, working our way through November, 26th morning of November. We're looking at some MTO traffic cameras. There's really nothing happening in traffic, just a bit of building volume, nothing at Glendale, St. Catharines. Here's some volume, top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, but still moving. Appleby line looks good. Sheraton, no problems. 403 west of Winston Churchill, not a lot happening in traffic this morning. Okay, the big story is in the forecast for the day. Look at the temperatures that we have to start the morning. 9 for Hamilton, 11 for Grimsby, 8 for Mississauga, 6 into Toronto. So consider those temperatures and then look at seasonals for this time of year. 3 to 4 degrees thought to be seasonal, depending on where you are in the horseshoe. -3 for the overnight low. Those were sun times and records for the day today. And yeah, we're looking at a fairly gray day with chance of showers. So we should be 11 degrees by the first bell. And then look out because the temperatures really drop. We're going to hit 2 by later on this afternoon. Again, we'll get some showers later on today, but those winds are going to become very strong. They'll gust to 70 kilometers an hour. Niagara Peninsula could get 80 to 90 kilometers an hour. So a windy day. Windy night tonight, down to -1. Tomorrow, +1. We'll struggle tomorrow. It'll be windy. We'll get flurries on and off. 0 on Friday. That's all we'll get to. Again, more flurries. -1 on Saturday. 2 degrees. We could get some mixing on Sunday as the temperature goes from -2 to +2, and then we'll get some sunshine back for Monday and Tuesday, but the temperatures still struggle. That's your forecast. Annette, Rick.
Okay, we see a lot of raccoons in this area and in rural areas as well.
But new research out suggests raccoons that live in the city are getting used to humans and may even be on the path to domestication. An assistant professor at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock noticed raccoons comfortably foraging through garbage while walking around campus. Scientists say domesticated animals often develop physical changes like shorter noses and smaller teeth, and researchers have found the snouts of urban raccoons were shorter than their rural counterparts. The professor believes that raccoons may be slowly domesticating and could even become pets one day. So I will ask you, Annette, would you ever adopt a raccoon as a pet?
I would, because I feel like we've already adopted, because the ones in our driveway that show up on our driveway on Friday mornings, garbage day, they're like, you know, they don't run away anymore. They're like, hey, what you got?
Hi there.
I noticed you have a new compost bin, one that has locks on it.
I noticed you had ribs the other day.
Yes.
Thanks a lot for the
Thanks for the
leftovers.
pizza box. Yes.
Wow. Stay with us. More to come after the break here on Morning Live. It would make for a great pet, I believe.
I think so.
Very cuddly.